I quite remember this lady who works with Peace FM, Yatili. One time who was reading the news in Ghana. Now, we were to play certain role and no script. And Wale said Ministry of Health also had given him just 2 weeks to come up with something. And he didn't have the time to write a script. Then he said, he told his assistant, go and call me Sam. He's a resourceful actor. Go and bring him. I came and the man told me this is the story. I said, okay. So I called Yatili aside. And I told her, let's go. I just said, we are ready. Action. We did everything. The man said, take your money and go.
Wow.
So you see, that's how it's been.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So let's come back to taxi driver. Are you comfortable sharing with us how much you used to earn with taxi driver
how much
and with taxi driver?
I was paid 100,000,
100,000.
which is now 10 cities. Yeah. Not knowing that at that time, the late John Kay had instructed them that they should pay me 300,000 per episode. And I had a long chat with the late John Kay and his earnestness. Whenever I talk about John Kay, I'm looking at his face, the earnestness in his eyes. That got me my whole being into taxi driver. I wasn't thinking about money at that time. The man told me, if taxi driver, he invited me to his office. And then when I went in, he was sitting in the visitor's chair. Then he asked me to sit in the executive chair. I said, no. But you are the boss, sit in your chair. He said, sit. I sat down. I said, do you know why I asked you to sit? I said, no. He said, good. If taxi driver is going to do well, if taxi driver is going to go places, it's you. That was John Kay talking to me. If taxi driver is going to go places, it's you. And I said, okay. And that got me into it. So, not knowing, he had instructed that I should be paid 300,000 at that time. And I was paid 100,000 per episode. So every week, somebody was stealing my 200,000. Every week. So you could imagine, if we did 13 episodes, somebody was richer by 2.6 as against my 1.3. That was what happened in Taxi Driver. Meanwhile, all the others were earning more. Recently, I was having a chat with Mikio Sebeko, and he told me I was collecting 300,000 per episode. And me, the major character,
Exactly.
the major character, they were paying me 100,000 cedis per episode. And so you could imagine all the episodes we did. And yet people would see me and they would think I have so much money. So that is what went on. They never discussed, but something happened. And I think something leaked. And then the one of the directors, Kwashi, Veronica Kwashi, who directed part of Taxi Driver. And then the husband, they used to give me a lift because I was in Medina at that time and they were. So they would give me, on the way going, they asked me, but Titi, how much are you paid? I told them 100. They said, what? Don't you know that 300,000 had been always budgeted? I said, no, I never knew. So they blew the alarm. And then I quite remember the late, come on, this man. At Village Communication, he said, if you don't know, 300,000 was budgeted for you. So they will budget it on paper, all right? But come payday every Wednesday, yeah. After because we were shooting weekends, then Wednesday we went for our money. Sign, and they would say sign. I mean, we were not, you wouldn't read anything.
Exactly. So
You
you
only
just
signed.
sign. Yeah.
Anyway, they wouldn't write that for me. They wouldn't write that I was to be paid 300. No, they wouldn't write it there. Sometimes they won't fill everything. They will only ask you, you sign this place, and then they will put in what they wanted. So that was what happened.
Wow. Wow. So after it blew that this is the amounts that you were being paid, what was done? Did they begin paying you
What?
300,000 afterwards, or
what?
was somebody called out to be questioned? What was done?
And then alarm blew. I think it got to a point Emmanuel Appiah quit. You know, those who started. Then they brought in other directors and this, that, and the whole thing. As I said, whenever I talk about taxi driver, I'm looking at the face of the late John Kay. How the appeal he made to me. You know, he said, if taxi driver is going to go places, it's you. It got to a point to that one dropped.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And so, well, man is gone through hard times, I must say, very difficult times. But then, what could you do?
Yeah.
All the one way or the other, you had to find something to do.
To do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and occasionally people will remember that this man is an actor,
Yeah.
and then they will come for you.
Yeah.
But one thing I must say, I say, you know, our time, as I told you my experience with the late John Kay,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about money, but the appeal he made to me,
Yeah.
you know, got me into the work.
Into it.
And then people took advantage of that, and they were cheating us.
Yeah.
But then you were thankful. For example, GBC. GBC didn't pay much. And whenever you complain, they will tell you, hey, we are making you popular. Of course, when what do you call it? TV theater was shown, people noticed. And that's where Ghana films, the directors picked their artists.
Yeah.
And so in a way, what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
They are advertising you, so to speak. And so you fall at one end and you rise at the other end.
Okay.
I had a call from the office of the chief of staff
Okay.
that the chief of staff also wanted to do something. I said, okay. So they asked me for my MTN Momo account, and I gave them. And true to their word, they paid into my account 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from the chief of staff before the vice president
Okay.
also came out. And the vice president, although that particular day his mother was dead,
Yes.
but I understand when he woke up, he asked his aide and the rest, have you found TT? They said, no, we had to shove it because of your mother. He said, no, come on, get him.
Wow.
Yes. And so they had to contact the guy who interviewed me. And then he was given 50,000 cedis cash to be given to me. So the guy called me again and he said, sir, we're going somewhere, but we would like to pass by. I said, okay. So one day he came, I asked, why? The other time, didn't you finish what you wanted?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, what have you been hearing so far? I said, well, I've been receiving calls and it looked like the interview we did has
really
gone
gone
very
far,
far.
yeah.
Then he said, but have you heard anything from any government? I said, no, I heard that this, but. Then he said, well, I'm here on behalf of the vice president because they contacted me, his aide, they contacted me, and then the vice president, they asked me to bring this money to you. And so he said, this is 30 million. And he said, 30,000.
20,000, yes.
I said, this 30,000 is to help you pay for 5 months rent. That is, every 6 months you pay 500. Every 6 months you pay 500. And then this 20,000 is for your upkeep.
That made it in all
50.
50,000.
Here, he was sitting here.
Wow.
Then I said, yeah. And I said, I wish I could see him in person and say
Yes,
thank you.
Yes.
So I stood before camera and I spoke to camera. And I said, say thank you very much. It never crossed my mind that this thing will go that far. And so I did that. And then before long, I also heard that the Greater Accra Regional Minister also wanted to contribute his quota. So they also coming. And then the Gandangme group also wanted to come and donate something. I said, okay. So they came today. And it was actually mainly the people from the Greater Accra Regional Minister's office. And then they came with the document with the minister's letterhead that he was approached, and then he said, if we are talking about TT, whom we all knew, then let me also do. I know that the vice president has done this person has done that, this person has done it. But I sat down and I said, well, what could I also do? So what I am doing is I have instructed Accountant General's Department that I'm giving them a standing order that every month, beginning from September, they should deduct from my salary, at Parliament, 1,500 every month, and pay into the account of Sam Adjeteyfio TT.
Wow.
So that for all my tenure of office till
2024.
2025 till I leave office. So they're waiting for me to give them the feedback so that they will quickly finish the deal. So they brought me the paper on it. That's a document. He too, I thanked him. And I intend that in due season, the Father will grant me enough strength,
Yes.
and then to go and say thank you
Thank
to
you
all
to,
these
yes,
gentlemen.
all of them.
Yeah.
All of
So that is what is happening.
Okay. Yes.
That is what has
Thank
happened
God.
so
We
far.
thank God. Okay, so with the 20,000 for upkeep, for instance, do you have anything in mind that you intend on doing with it?
As I said, I have a piece of land here,
Okay.
and with all the donations coming in, what we intend doing as soon as possible is to, I started something. I started digging the foundation. We even erected a wall which we didn't finish. Part of it is broken down. I got some blocks which we've not been able to pack, and the weeds had grown over them. So I'll get somebody to go clear the land. Do everything, and then we'll go bit by bit. I'll talk to the architect, and then if we could even get single room, self-contained single rooms, me and my children, so that at the end of the day, this question of accommodation wouldn't arise again. And should any more donations come, my firstborn, he's interested in driving, and right now he has his driver's license, but we've not been able to secure him a job. So we're praying to the Father for that he also gets a job. Now my daughter, whom you saw, She is into radio.
Okay.
So she is attending media school.
Okay.
She too will be out by September ending. And then when they all get something doing,
Yeah.
the third child, loves schooling, so he's going to some tertiary institution now. So bit by bit, let's say with the first two, say in 6 months or 1 year's time, I believe
Okay.
the father would have done something about
Yeah.
them. And then once the two of them get something doing, definitely they won't sit down for their father to go hungry.
Yeah.
And then also I believe that the father would have, my health would have improved.
Yes.
And then, as I said, as I keep saying, right now I could act like how we're talking now, if nothing strenuous, but a role, say, a chief executive talking to his staff,
Yeah.
or a father talking to his children, or an elderly man talking to his people. That one I can do. So that at least that will also bring in something, or some advert.
Yeah.
That one also will help. So I've been trumpeting this all along.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So that is what is happening to us now.
Okay. All right. So, for some time, ever since you came out publicly seeking for financial assistance, people have been speaking about you in bad light, that you don't plan for the future. What's your response to this?
You know, I get incensed when people say such stupid things. When I was working, acting taxi driver, I had children.
Yeah.
I was taking care of my children, and I wasn't using grass to feed them. I was using money that I earned as a teacher, money that I earned from my acting, or with all the stealing that people were stealing my money. I was doing this. So it is I find it very insulting. I get incensed actually when somebody says that, what did you do with the money? This is television, like I would say. Because it's stupid.
Yeah.
I had a family. I was renting a house.
Yeah.
I was paying rent. I was paying electricity. I was paying water. And I was taking care. My children were in school. So what do you mean by what did I do with my money? Huh? I took your mother to this thing. What do you call it? Jamming session. It's very stupid when they ask those questions. They forget that I wasn't living in my own house. I was renting. I was paying all those things. What's more, I was taking trotro up and down. I was paying. I didn't have my own transport. It was only part that I got these things.
So there was no point in time in your lifetime where you lived a lavish lifestyle, or
What kind of lifestyle? I'm a family man. I love my children like something. You understand me? Yeah. I'm always with my children, wherever they are. Even when I was in Kofredo and they were in, I bought them phones. Every day I was calling them. Whenever you had any problem, call me. Let me know every day. Yes, what is going on there? So whenever, sometimes they'll say, Perhaps Sam, we don't have anything to eat. I say, really? Okay. Then I'll call a friend and say, please, I beg you, I'm on location. Could you give my children so much? I'll reimburse you later. And then the guy will give them money. Or sometimes when they told me that, I will go to the market at Kofredwa and buy things. Buy rice, even buy fish, tomatoes, everything, oil, so that as soon as they got it, they will only buy charcoal and then cook. And then I will package everything, buy this beef Foster bread, put it on it, and then put an envelope into the thing and come, and then go to the lorry station. Yes, the car, next available car. And then I'll talk to the station master. And then the driver, they'll put the load. And then I'll call my children and tell, go to the Medina station and watch out for this vehicle with this number. And then the children will go for it. And then, so what are you telling me? What did I do with my money? I find it, in fact, whenever I hear such stupid things, I feel like slapping the stupid person who said that.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
I'm not the type who goes about frolicking, doing
Yeah.
stupid things. No.
Yeah.
Of course, when you're on location, well, I'm a young man. At that time, I was a young man. Definitely, I will attract some fine lady.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I shouldn't say hip, 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 meme. What do you mean? Here am I today, disease has taken all those things away.
Away.
So the little that I did, is that what you are going to judge me by? You're stupid if you tell me that.
All right. All right. Thank you
I
so
get
much.
very incensed when I
Yes.
hear such
Yeah.
remarks
Yeah.
that you didn't plan.
Yeah.
Do you know planning? Look, you could there's been situations where people had bought cars, people had built mansions, but one disease will rob you of everything.
Yeah.
Just one disease. It will rob you of, you will sell your houses, you will sell your cars. So those people, they haven't seen the world before. Do they know the diseases I've gone through? I've gone through such painful diseases such as, they call it gouty arthritis. And uh, it's not a disease people should go through.
Yeah.
But if you want to feel what I had felt before, pray the Father Almighty that you go through it, then you smell pepper. Where you couldn't walk on your feet, and that's when, if you didn't have anybody, you see that the world is something else. And then go through such diseases like heart failure. These are all life-threatening diseases. And so you tell me, what did I do with my money? I find it very stupid.
Yeah.
If you ask me that, if I had my, I would slap you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I had to vent my pent-up
Well
anger.
understood.
Yeah.
Well understood. Thank you so much.
Please, I beg you, if somebody is going through some difficulties and you don't know why, keep your big mouth shut. It's very, very annoying, very, very painful. When somebody is going through some very difficult things, there are things we call disease. Do I invite disease? So that if at a point in life I get hit by a life-threatening disease, and diseases take away money, people build mansions, disease takes them all away. People buy cars, disease takes them all away. So please, know how to talk. If you don't have anything to talk about, keep your mouth shut. You don't know. But I pray that those of you who said all those stupid things, may the Father send the devil to visit you. Then you will know what it means when some of us are going through these things. Anyway, having said that, if you need a taxi, a day here, 24 hours a day. I said that already in the morning.